You cannot escape from death.
Main Man Sui is actually playing Street Fighter 6. This goes to proof for that guy who was like, oh, they can't quit. They can't quit. They have to keep playing it. Yes, they can quit. Look at this guy, Arslan Ash, bro. Arslan Ash says, I'm so glad I'm not playing Tekken 8 Season 2 and instead having a blast tackling this obstacle course. And then you also have Miss Play Stuff. She was out there, Nature Before Season 2. This is what Tekken is doing to people, bro. They really outside, going on hikes, getting some sun. 1, wait for it to get better. 2, wait for it to get better. 3, wait for it to get better. 4, wait for it to get better. And this is what people are telling the players is like, wait for it to get better. Wait, guys, you're impatient, you're impatient, you're impatient. I think that we've done enough waiting. Through the first year of Tekken 8 being in tournaments, through the betas, the demos, to the first year of Season 1. That totals like 2 years. And for them to double down on all of the shenanigans we told them we didn't like the whole way through all of that, we done enough waiting, and it's time to, like, do something else,
I still have loyalty to Tekken even if it sucks.
And that's a good point. Thank you for the dono. This is why a lot of people are returning and playing like Tekken 7 and Tag 2. And this is why a lot of people are struggling to drop Tekken 8, because a lot of people really love this game and a lot of people really want to like believe in it and they want it to do better. The thing is that the developers just aren't. They're lying every step of the way. They're ignoring all of the criticism and they're putting the players literally in the toughest spot possible to where they have to quit. No one wants to, but the developers is literally like, they're saying, screw you guys. That's literally what Season 2 was. So I'm not boycotting this game for a single reason. I want to see everything that needs to be fixed. The message arrived, but I want to provide as much feedback as possible to the devs about everything wrong. Jack and Paul are the tip of the iceberg. If we do not play and discover broken things, we will be again in trouble in a few weeks. Playing and reporting all the broken things, in my opinion, is a better way to heal the game than boycotting. I still want to thank whoever joined the boycott website, as I know they do that with the hope to see Tekken 8 a good product. That's the thing, right? A lot of people who joined that website is because they don't know what else to do. Like, I'm a content creator, bro. I could sit here and I could yap, I could crack jokes, I could let out the frustrations that way. But for the average player who don't have that method, they don't know what to do. And joining in on boycotts and joining in on review bombs is the way that literally players can show their opinions through force, right? So I shared to Twitter this Reddit post. Michael Murray is scrolling through the Tekken subreddit and is blocking players who is critical of Season 2, even those who never interacted with. Allegedly, he is checking profiles to see if they have a Twitter, then he blocks them. This is the post that I linked, and it says, never did I once talk about or interact with this dude at all. And it shows a screenshot of them being blocked by Michael Murray. This one is the one that I also screenshotted and put on Twitter. It says, I don't remember ever interacting with this guy on Twitter. In fact, I did an advanced search to double check. Guess what? No interactions with this dude. What is this guy's problem? Your Twitter is linked to your Reddit. This tells me he's looking through Reddit, finding people who's complaining about Tekken 8 in any conceivable way, and then stalking them to Twitter to block them. Edit. I'm blocked too. Basically 100% confirming my hypothesis. Time to unleak my Twitter. This person says, that makes sense, but what was the reason he would block me? And he says, oh, wait a minute. And then this is the post here. We actually were looking at this post literally the other day. This is a post that has 285 upvotes. That's pretty decent, right? But I want to do what Michael Murray did, allegedly, and follows this person's account to Twitter. So I clicked on their profile. Here is their link to Twitter. When you scroll through this, there's literally no complaints about Tekken. Like, it's like a bunch of WWE stuff. It's literally, it goes on like this for quite some time. I did research to verify, when you're sharing something of this nature, you have to verify. One thing that I did see and I thought was pretty interesting, and I'm going to scroll down to try to find it. Remember, we were looking at this thread about Gosane. Gosane had all of these ideas of what he wanted Tekken 8 to be, and we were asking whether or not the developers would implement it. I'm not going to pause and read all of this. We did this in a video already, but it's 4 pages of stuff that he wants to do. Now, Michael Murray at the time, he put eye emojis on this, and there were some people who was upset. Some people wanted more out of Michael Murray. Some people wanted less out of Michael Murray. But then you have this person here is one of those guys who says, please stop tweeting. Anything you say right now will only make it worse. Next time we hear from you guys, it should be through your actions and decisions you're making to fix this mess. And Michael Murray, as you would expect, block this person for saying this. But then here's the guy from the Reddit post who says, I never interacted with this guy and he blocked me. So this is him just sharing the post. But other than that, right, when you follow each of these other rabbit holes, this person doesn't, from what I can see, doesn't at all tweet about Tekken on Twitter. And the only way Michael Murray could have seen them is if he was on Reddit. And that is so crazy. Like, if we're going to defend Michael Murray, there's one thing that could happen here. It's like, let's say this R-Man guy was tweeting something about Michael Murray, but then he deleted it, right? That's the only way that this whole thing would fall apart. If he deleted it, and then he's trying to paint Michael Murray as the bad guy. But from what I see, because, you know, and even if that was the case, you usually would be able to see like other type of criticisms on their page, right? But if you look, like, I'm just scrolling through this person's replies and whatnot, and there's literally nothing Tekken related here. So it would not make sense for this guy to like criticize the Tekken developers, delete it, lie about it, and then this guy doesn't talk nothing about Tekken at all. So I, for that reason, am believing that Michael Murray is doing this, that he is on Reddit looking at people making memes and he's blocking them. Glad to hear. Yeah, people can be rude AF, but still going to search through all the feedback and report to the balancing team. When he said he's going to search through all the feedback, he was not lying. Bro searched through Twitter, blocked a bunch of people. He went over to Reddit. I wouldn't be surprised if that guy went over to Facebook and did the same thing. Let me go to Facebook. Let me go to Instagram. Let me search through all the feedback. It's weird that he just doesn't mute. If you don't want to see him on your timeline, mute. You know blocking is going to get backlash. So in 2021, Harada says it's important to get feedback from fans. However, simply listening to the opinions of fans is not enough to make a good game. In the first place, there may be conflicting opinions and needs amongst customers. In addition, many customers are unable to verbalize their own latent needs. I thought this was pretty interesting because there's a lot of things that he says that's right here, but also it's very telling about what's currently happening. He's talking about how players aren't really united in their criticisms. Like, I think DLC is a very good example. If you start asking players what DLC characters they want, they get very chaotic, very fast. But the interesting thing about Season 2 is that the player base is very united on this. And everyone is saying this update is bad. If you're not saying it, you're literally an anomaly. But then also when he's talking about customers are unable to verbalize their own latent needs, this also reminds me of what we were just talking about, of how people are doing review bombs, people are doing websites, people are doing hashtags and stuff. Because when people don't have the power to, you know, do something on their own, they try to unite together and send a message that way. So what he is saying here is true, and a lot of that stuff is happening right now in Season 2. But I thought that tweet was very interesting. I was just doing some research and I stumbled across that, and I thought it was relevant to what's happening now. But the next thing that I want to show you guys is this interview. It says, fun fact, Harada believes Tekken wouldn't be as successful as it is if it was really difficult. But this says PBS, I guess that's the interviewer, based on what I've played, Tekken 7 is the most complex Tekken game yet, but it's almost the most accessible Tekken game in years. How do you strike this balance between veteran and newcomer? Tekken 7 literally is a balance, and that's what players don't understand. It's like Tekken 7 was a balance between veterans and newcomers. So the overreach that they're doing in Season 2 is literally unnecessary. It is difficult to speak in general terms about complexity. I don't believe that Tekken is complex. If it were complex, it probably wouldn't have sold 44 million copies sold. It'd be the best-selling fighting game it is today. Some people in the FGC may say it's complex, but then others even say you can win Tekken by button mashing, which sounds contradictory. In fact, many techniques can easily be performed by button mashing, but this also means it can be said that the game is accessible to a wide audience. It is frustrating when I see the same person say Tekken is very technical and thus difficult, but then they say it is a button masher with no depth in other instances. In actuality, I believe the game is easy for anyone to pick up to play, yet difficult to master if you want to compete at a tournament level. However, the fan base is about 70% casual. Otherwise, it would be too much difficult to sell 44 million copies. Half of the 44 million is from Europe, with the next biggest fan base coming from the US, and most players will never go to a tournament. He then says, special effort was made to ensure Tekken 7 was more accessible than past installments. Getting up after being knocked down was made simpler, as well as controls. The new mechanics are also quite simple. Longtime fans of the series have been saying this is the easiest Tekken for newcomers to pick up, and we have seen a large influx of new players from arcades versions in Japan and Asia. Keep in mind, Harada is desperate to grow that market, Japan and Asia, right? This is something I talked about in the past video. You see how he's talking about it there. That connects those two things together, right? This was achieved because we have a good balance of breaking down / discarding what we built up and creating new content and mechanics on that streamlined base.
And this is my sanity, man. Look into my eyes, bro. The eyes never lie. Does it look like I'm having fun? Be honest.
Hey, what's up, Far Bro? Bro says, OMG, the real Moonsalt. I think I'm the real Moonsalt. The hacker? Oh, that person's a hacker? You see that? Is that the guy? No, it's not me. I'm legit. I love Mr. Hacker. Oh, why they calling you a hacker, bro? What happened? I don't know, man. It's a bad joke, I guess. They're calling you a hacker the same way they're calling Spaghetti Rip a shill. It's just a big misunderstanding. People be saying things about me too, and I'd be like, hey guys, it's a big misunderstanding. Bro, you made videos about him? Is that why the name is familiar? Well, I'm glad that you're here. We kind of don't like cheating and we kind of don't like hacking, you know? So if you can stop that, if you can stop doing that, we would appreciate it. Oh, I made a video about you a long time ago, bro. How's it going? April 5th, 2024. That was literally a year ago. Yeah, hopefully you're on the right track now, you know? We love a good redemption story. Those are amazing. Tell them the boycott will never change trash, and the only way to change the game by the devs is to empty the tournaments and stop meat riding Harada and Murray because they already took our money. That's how you know season 2 is crazy. They're literally like creating a Avenger of Tekken players. Ex-cheaters, Yoshi mains, is an actual pros. All we have to do is convince Spaghetti Rip, and then we'll have literally the Avengers. We'll have a shield, we'll have a bad player who thinks they're good, actual good player, and then ex-cheater hacker. And then boom, a new tech tutorial just dropped. How to uninstall Tekken 8 on Steam.
Hey people, I hope you're having a wonderful day. This is my guide on how to uninstall Tekken 8. I know a lot of veteran players will have a hard time doing this, or maybe have forgotten how, but I'm here to walk you through it. If you're on the main menu, as you are every day to do your drills with whatever character,